Speaker Mike Johnson tries forcing through a Christmas tree omnibus spending bill that goes against every principle in his being. And it seems like Elon Musk might have thwarted the plan. That and more in this episode of Saving the Republic.
Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools. And our honored dead, who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis, didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance.
All right, welcome back to Thursday's edition of Saving the Republic with Joe Staten, presented as always by Grab Your Gear Network, where we speak to hardworking Americans, specifically those in Gen Z. If you're my age, I'm 25 years old myself. We speak to you. We want to bring you guys the news that really matters, and we're going to explain how it impacts your life and actually makes a difference. So if you care about following the real news and how it's going to affect you, make sure you give us a follow and a subscribe here on the channel. Now, with that being said, programming update. I've been saying this for a while, but I'm going to keep saying it so everybody has it in their mind. We are coming to you Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday for the foreseeable future, as circumstances have dictated. I'm currently overseas for a medical treatment I've talked about in previous videos, and we'll be here for a couple months. So until we go back home, the program will be coming to you again Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Going to be a little bit weird with the holidays coming up, Christmas. I'm sure there's going to be some days that we don't come to you. Probably next Tuesday, not going to be doing a show, but that programming will stand for the foreseeable future. Now, Fridays we have Mark Rogers on. You don't want to miss those shows for sure. We're going to be coming tomorrow with a good episode with Mark, so make sure you stay tuned for those. And yeah, let's get into today. So, if you guys have not seen, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you've heard some of the news, but we have a battle going down right now in Washington, D.C. And also, it's not just in Washington. It's online. It's on Twitter. And the post I'm going to pull up here on the screen is something that is at the core of the political discourse in America and something that's going to affect your paychecks and affect your wallets. And that is this omnibus spending bill. All right. Now, we've all seen the debate, right? We've all heard about the effects of these massive continuing resolutions, is what they're called, where the Congress does not receive the spending bill until the very last minute. They have less than a day to review these bills. And what just happened was that Speaker Mike Johnson negotiated with the Democrats and put something together to fund the government through January 20th. So if this bill does not pass, if they don't pass the spending bill, the government will effectively shut down, meaning certain government workers will not be receiving paychecks, meaning people will not be working during the holidays, getting those holiday paychecks potentially, but also meaning that we're not going to fund massive deficits, also meaning that we're not going to add a bunch of pork to this bill. And so they introduced this bill. It was a 1,500-page bill, actually 1,431 to be exact. And let's just take a look at some of these items on here, right? Let's take a look at what they wanted to pass through. Okay. This spending bill would have blocked RFK Jr. from updating his HHS protocol on vaccine injuries. On page 757, the bill amends the previously passed Prevent Pandemic Act. The secretary may not revise the vaccine injury table to include a vaccine for which the CDC has issued a recommendation for routine use in children or pregnant women until at least one application for such vaccine has been approved. Upon such revision of the vaccine injury table, all vaccines in a vaccine category on the vaccine injury table, including vaccines authorized under emergency use, shall be considered included in the vaccine injury table. They also added an injury or death related to an administered at a time when the vaccine was a covered countermeasure subject to a declaration, shall not be eligible for compensation. So this was something in the bill. We saw millions of dollars going to like LGBTQ funding causes. We saw the protection of the January 6th committee that prevented the president from being able to prosecute or investigate members of Congress in relation to the January 6th committee. All right. So this is a pork bill. This is full of pork, 1,400 pages. And Elon Musk and others, including Vivek Ramaswamy and many people on the right, came out opposed to this bill on social media very strongly pushing against it. And actually, we have a live development as we're making the show right now, so I'm going to cover that here in just a second. But so we had an attempt here to do what they always do, right? They pass these bills, nobody can read them. There's billions of dollars in excess spending. In fact, this current bill, the 1,400-page bill, had hundreds of billions of dollars in excess spending. And so after Elon Musk came out against this bill very, very strongly, I cannot even explain how strongly Elon came against the bill. There was a new version that the president, Donald Trump, worked on with Mike Johnson and reintroduced. And that's the bill that I showed on the screen here previously that I'm going to show to you guys again, is this new bill. And guess how many pages the new bill is, which is probably how many pages it should have been in the first place. 115 pages. All right. This is a bare bones what should be a bare bones actual continuing resolution spending bill that was introduced as an option. And the House was slated to vote on this bill at 6:30 p.m. Eastern today. Now it is 7:15 as I make this video. And guess what? We just have breaking news right now that 38 Republicans vote against the new continuing resolution. All right. So 2 Democrats voted for it. 38 Republicans voted against it. Really makes you wonder, doesn't it? You know, we've had this discussion on the channel many times before. What does it mean to be a true Republican? These people are in Congress and they are clearly not interested in standing up for conservative principles. They're clearly not interested in preserving and setting a new way forward of not doing these massive bloated spending bills that nobody can read. Can anybody in the American public read a 1,500-page bill in less than 24 hours, and you expect us to just accept this and pass it along as if it's commonplace? No, that's not how this works. And I'm going to put on the screen here as well a pretty pathetic excuse from Mike Johnson and his response as to why this was conducted the way that it was. Check out how he explains this in this word salad, I would say.
Have a choice. We have to fund those. We have to fund FEMA. We have to fund our farmers.
Right. And
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, it's not just so you've got a bunch of Republicans who are angry at you. They don't like this. And just in a couple of weeks, you're going to stand once again to run for Speaker of the House. And you don't need a bunch of Democrats mad at you. But and this is breaking news you do not know. You know who also does not like this? Elon Musk, the world's richest man, just tweeted this bill should not pass. The only way you're going to be able to pass it now, Mr. Speaker, is with Democrats. If you could, what's your message to Elon Musk?
Well, I was communicating with Elon last night. Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together. And I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight. And he said, look, I get it. He said, we understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor.
Doesn't that sound like a cop-out to you? Let's keep going.
Thin margin of Republicans. So any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda. That's what we're going to run with gusto beginning January 3rd when we start the new Congress, when Republicans, again, are in control. And all of our fiscal conservative friends, I'm one of them, will be able to finally do the things that we've been wanting to do for the last couple of years. Right now, Democrats still control pens, and that's the problem. So we got to get this thing done so we don't have the shutdown, so we get the short-term funding measure, and we get to March where we can put our fingerprints on the spending. That's when the big changes start, and we can't wait to get there.
Right.
Now, the problem here, it's all fine and dandy what he's saying about, is what we have to do. We have a slim majority. We're working with Democrats in the Senate. It's perfectly fine to say that and to say, this is not my preferred route, a short-term spending measure. But guess what? This is the same guy who said, yeah, come December, we're not going to have another continuing resolution, short-term solution. Okay, so they purposely wait to the last minute, and then they shove this down the throats of Congress, and they shove it down the throats of the American people, and they expect you just to go with it. And Mike Johnson is the same guy who funded Ukraine several times, who said, "Oh, we're going to look at the funding of Ukraine." And guess what? He comes out of the meeting every time with his hands behind his back, kowtowing to these people. And I know how the business works, guys. I know how it works. And it's even more so when you are in Congress, when you are in Washington, the lobbying is at another level. Okay. That's just how it is. And whether it's lobbying, whether it is, coercion, I don't know what's going on behind closed doors with these spending bills. I've been saying this for a long time. I think there's more to this. I think that when Republicans and Democrats should be able to come together and agree that we can't send our nation off a cliff fiscally. I mean, who wants to ruin? Does anybody want to ruin this nation? Does anybody want to sit back and watch the U.S. crumble and our dollar go valueless and our economy go off the cliff and us to lose global credibility because we cannot manage the national debt? I mean, how long are we gonna play this game? How long are we gonna kick this can down the road intentionally? All right. The fact that both sides are doing this tells me there's more to this. It's not just a matter of, oh, let's just push it to the next round. We're not going to do the same thing next time. We promise you. We promise. We're not going to do it. All right. What did we just see? Let's take a look yet again. Let me pull it back up on the screen. We just saw 38 quote unquote Republicans vote against this continuing resolution. Right now, I know that one of those Republicans, Chip Roy from Texas, has somewhat of a principled stance, I would say, respectable in the sense that this bill, even the shortened version, still had some excess spending. So his position is, look, we're not going to spend any more than we have, which I actually respect that to a certain extent. But the bottom line is that this bill was leaps and bounds better and would have set a precedent to say that, look, we're not going to have these massive, unreadable bills with unlimited amount of pork in it. Okay. This big old porky pork bill is what Mike Johnson just tried to shove down their throats. And I think we need to start asking questions, guys. What is going on? Seriously, what is going on? And who do we need to look at to primary? Who do we need to look at to vote in as speaker? Because that's the reality, is that we probably need a new speaker. I mean, I don't understand why a guy like Jim Jordan didn't win last time around. I mean, that guy was perfect for the job. The fact that he didn't win told me a lot. I think it told everybody a lot about where these congressmen really stand. And it's just so sad. It's just really pathetic that we have Republicans in Congress who act the way they do. These people, I'm not even sorry at all by saying this. Their loyalty does not lie with you. Their loyalty is not with their constituents. Their loyalty is with their paychecks. Their loyalty is with their pocketbooks. Okay? In fact, a lot of these people are, even Democrats. Both of them are captured by the money. Both of them are captured by the power. And so you might ask, okay, what's the point of this episode? If we're just are we just throwing our hands up at the sky and complaining about these people that we have no control over? No. The reality is we do have control. But they want to perpetuate the idea that we don't have control. They want you to feel like you're disconnected. They want you to feel disenfranchised, to not get involved and vote. Part of this whole mission of this network and this channel is to say, look, this is why it matters. Get active. Go register to vote. Go look at your congressman. Is your congressman one of the people who voted no on this bill? Are they really? Because if they are, we need to start having conversations about who deserves to be in office and who deserves to have this R next to their name. Because guess what? A lot of these guys are not Republicans. They're not. In principle, they're not. They like the title. They like having that R, but they don't live like it. They don't vote like it. All right. So let's start asking questions, guys. Let me know what you think about this bill down below. Let me know what you think about Mike Johnson over here running around taking selfies with Elon Musk, getting on Trump Force One, going to UFC events, taking selfies with Tulsi Gabbard, and then turns around and boom, stabs you right in the back. It's just pretty incredible to see. So let me know if you guys agree with that. Like the video if you're new here. Subscribe here to the channel. Coming at you tomorrow with an episode with Mark Rogers. Again, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saving the Republic. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next episode. Take care.